In the beginning, God created. Then he created man in his own image. Then man created. Those who know him then are creative Christians.
Let's meet one of them now.
When it comes to ministry, which I believe we all should come to now and again, Joe Brown has carved a very important niche for himself. Joe is co-founder of the Christian Youth Film Festival, headquartered here in Bakersfield, but reaching to all corners of the earth. With film being such a deep influencer on our society, he's working very hard to get as much new Christian blood in Hollywood as possible. He's doing an admirable job at it, too. Let's hear what he has to say. So how you doing?
Well, good, thank you. Yeah, working hard, trying to stay ahead of the game.
Well, how's that doing?
that's the hard part. Yeah, I just took a group of kids to Warner Brothers Studios. And,
no kidding.
Took a tour of their whole back lot and all their facilities, and then went to lunch and had 4 Hollywood professionals come and speak to the kids, and it was really precious.
Oh, wow. I wish I was there.
Yeah.
Trying to stay closer to you. Before we go on, let me introduce, this is Joe Brown. Joe is the co-founder and chief bottle washer right now at the Christian Youth Film Society, and holds the Christian Youth Film Festival down in Bakersfield. And Joe, why don't you just take a minute and kind of give people an idea of your background and how you got into this, and
Sure.
Where you think it's going and all that kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Goodness, it's been almost 30 years when we started this Christian Youth Film Festival. Another youth pastor and I, we were looking for an activity, an event, really, to help the kids. But we didn't want to do another softball tournament or dodgeball tournament. And so we thought about the creative kids and the artsy kids. And we thought, let's do an Academy Awards type night where the kids make a movie and we give away some trophies and have some red carpet and tuxedos and ball gowns. So we did that. And the next year we thought, let's do it again. Why not? The kids liked it. And it just picked up steam and kept going. And now we offer film camps and workshops and seminars, as well as the festival. Once a year, the festival at the Majestic Fox Theater, and there's red carpet, there's a photo backdrop, there's Hollywood professionals that come and judge the movies. We give away cash and trophies and prizes. So it's really become a fantastic event for kids ages 12 to 24. Of course, adults can come, and even littler kids can come to the festival, but it is primarily for the 12 to 24-year-olds. We have a junior high division, a high school division, and a college division. So they're not competing, the junior hires aren't competing with the college students. It makes it a little more of a level playing field. But it is fun and encouraging. Many of the kids have been through our program. They've gone on to Hollywood. They're working in the business, trying to make a living and trying to shine the light wherever they go. And then there's other students who decided, well, this is not the path for them. So they just go on to other things, but they've learned through our ministry. They've learned creative communication and teamwork, and how to share and live their faith in daily life. And then there's a couple of kids that have gone on to use the filmmaking skills at a church setting where they run the media department, and that's fun for the kids too. And I really appreciate that, because I like giving back to the church, and having kids learn to share their skills in the church body. So I guess that's in a nutshell about the whole ministry. I don't know what you're looking for, Bill. What would you like me to say?
Well, I want an expose here. I want it all out on the line. The you touch internationally too, don't you? I mean,
Absolutely, yeah. We've had entries from 13 different countries, as well as quite a few of the states, Canada, Mexico, and everywhere in between. And then, of course, we've had some entries from China, Russia, Iran, Turkey.
No kidding.
Yeah, England, Australia. So yeah, we've had quite a few from all over the place.
Wow. How do they learn about it? I mean, how does somebody learn about something?
Well, it's the internet, Bill. They look online, they search, and sometimes they've already got a movie that they'd like to submit to some festival, and ours pops up. Or sometimes they're looking for ideas, and they kind of stumble upon our YouTube page, and they look at some of the movies that have been made, and they think, well, we could probably do that. And some of them will contact me and ask for permission, or ask for some more details, and I'm more than happy to supply that. But I just want to encourage and equip young people to tell great stories in their movies.
Yeah. Do you, where do you get your scripts, I guess is what I'm thinking, from other kids, or do you?
Yeah, the students in their own little team, in their own environment, wherever they're at, they'll write their own script, and they'll shoot the whole thing. Some of the teams are close to Bakersfield here in California, and they can get a little more guidance, a little more involvement from us, but they can also rent, or not rent, they just borrow a lot of good equipment. We've been able to gather and put together some camera packages that a student team could come and borrow that for a week and shoot their project.
Is there any kind of time limit, or any kind of duration limit on the film and that kind of
Absolutely. Our maximum movie that we'll accept is 10 minutes. The credits will allow another minute for credits and titles, but the main content of the movie has to be done within 10 minutes. And some of the movies are only 5 minutes or 6 minutes. And to tell you the truth, Bill, they are often better than the movies that go the full 10 minutes. For a student movie, a short movie like this, sometimes less is more. And so that's one of the limits. There's no minimum limit. We could have a 30-second movie that walks away with everything if it's powerful. And then there's another criteria that we want to address is we are a Christian youth film festival. So they got to be young youth, ages 12 to 24, but we don't restrict the students who are not Christian. We have some students that are Christian and some students that are not Christian, but the content of the movie needs to correspond with a Christian worldview. And so if a group of students, let's say they're not Christian, as long as their movie falls within the parameters of a Christian worldview, then we'll accept their movie. And sometimes they just need to hear what that means. What does a Christian worldview mean? And so we help them out with that too.
Yeah, I would imagine that's quite an evangelical kind of notion where you're spreading the gospel as you're doing these things. Is that
Exactly.
true?
Exactly. We accept entries from anybody within that age bracket, whether they're Christian or not. However, as they make their movie, we want them to make sure that it is within a Christian biblical worldview framework.
Now, there's a lot of, I've been talking to other folks that are involved with motion pictures, and some have called it the most tightly wound, varying disciplines you can find in one place. And if you have a group that's making a movie and they're very good on all things, say, but lighting, are you able to give them some instruction or
Yes,
towards somebody who's a lighting expert? Or
yes, absolutely. We've had several groups or even individuals that have called and asked for a little advice, a little help, and we're more than happy to give that. Even times I will send their request on to several acquaintances who are professionals in the business, and they offer their advice. And so a lot of students don't want to ask for advice, but we highly recommend it. Even if we tell them stuff they already know, at least it will reinforce what they've got already.
yeah, in my eagerness to pretend that I have some value in this world, I've made three films, and from 45 minutes down to about, I think 7 was the short one. And there's so much involved with these things that let's say somebody like myself, okay, wanted to get some advice or information or something like that. Would you consider yourself a hub to maybe shunt them off to somebody that has information?
Yeah, that's right. I would consider myself or our ministry kind of a hub. That's good, because in fact, I just talked with a guy yesterday who is wanting to buy some equipment, camera package for his business, and I shared with him, here's what I think you should get as a business package. And then I said, but don't keep it for yourself, just for yourself. I want you to loan that to some students who are making a movie for our film festival. And so, yeah, it'd be a hub of information, but it would also be a hub of equipment and encouragement. And I think that's a great way to describe what we do and what we kind of hope to do.
Do you work with any troubled kids? I mean,
yes,
probably everybody is troubled in some way, but,
myself
folks that are
included.
under disadvantaged or underutilized, so to speak.
Yeah, we had a film camp in juvenile hall, and I tell you, Bill, that was so special to go in there, and we worked with a group of girls, 12 girls, who had just made some bad choices and got caught and were doing their time in juvenile hall, and they didn't realize that there's a way out. It seemed like they were in a cycle of getting caught, getting locked up, getting out, doing some bad things, and then getting caught and locked up again. And then when we went in, we helped them see that through creativity and through telling their stories, they might find a way out of that horrible cycle that they felt like they were stuck in. And so we had some professionals come in and talk to the girls, and they really seemed to be amazed and
Yeah.
thrilled, and they learned a little bit about their own giftedness and their ability to tell stories. So
That's
yeah,
very
juvenile
cool.
hall, that's a great one. We also had a special needs division. One
Ooh.
year we had a couple of teams that had special needs kids, and they made movies, and we had a little film festival just for them. It was great.
I have a grandson who's, I think he's 32 now, that's special needs. And um, that something like that, I think would really appeal to him.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. At that age, we, well, for our special needs program, we kind of went with the cognitive age. So a 32-year-old, say with Down syndrome, might be cognitively still in seventh grade or
Yeah,
something like that. So we made accommodations for that, and it turned out to be a real sweet time of encouraging these special needs kids. Yeah.
I bet it does or is. Do you, you said you did it once at juvenile hall, and you did it, sounds like once when you, for the special needs folks. Is there any kind of an ongoing thing where you want to do it again, or what's your thought on that?
Yeah, we didn't see enough of a response from the special needs community.
Okay,
And so to put on a festival, because it's so expensive, we really need some investment from the special needs community if we're going to continue that. I'd like to continue that again. I think that was valuable, but we need to be responsible with the funding that comes in too. We don't want to spend money we don't have. And so
definitely.
we need that investment from the community. The same thing with juvenile hall. That ministry, I'd love to do it again. It seemed like it really made a difference in those kids' lives. But one of the hardest things is getting some of the Hollywood professionals to come in and share with that film camp in juvenile hall. We had this one gal who was eager. She even went through the process of getting a background check and was cleared to go with juvenile hall. But then she gets called to do some work. And for actors, as you know, Bill,
Oh yeah.
they may work solid 3 or 4 weeks in production, and then they don't work for another 3 or 4 months.
I
And
know.
so when a call comes to do some work, they need to answer the call. Well, that's what
Definitely.
happened with this young lady. She's a good actress, and she's in high demand right now. And so her schedule just wouldn't allow her to come to Bakersfield and minister in juvenile hall. We're still waiting, and I'm still looking for just the right person.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Um,
So
where do you see this going? Do you, and it might be too early to even ask that question, but do you see this expanding at all, or do you see that you've kind of hit where it makes sense, and you just want to keep grinding away at that? What's your thought on that?
grinding away. Yes, that's what we
It's
do.
grinding, believe me.
Grinding away. Well, we're sharpening our axe, I suppose. And so the grinding is appropriate. Yeah, Bill, there's a desire to take the film festival to other parts of the country, maybe other parts of the world. And while I have that desire, the right set of circumstances, the right set of people just hasn't come together yet. And I'm waiting for it. But it does take a commitment from people in another community, in another state, another country. It takes a commitment from a few people there to help fund it and to help make it happen until we get to a point where we have, several employees. It's just me, and I'm unable to carry everything to a new location. But I would like to see additional film festivals in other places. So that's one of the things on a horizon. Another one is to have a facility where I can have an office and a screening room, maybe some classrooms. And so that's always on the horizon too, a facility that will meet our needs into the future, into the next decade and beyond.
How's the fundraising? How do you go about doing that?
Well, I apply for grants, and every now and then we'll get one. They say you apply for 100 and you might get one, so it's tedious and it takes time, but it's very rewarding when a company steps in or a foundation steps in and provides a grant. We also ask for sponsors. We find companies that want to sponsor the film festival and get their name on the list. We will show the name, the logo on the big screen, and it's great exposure for a company looking for that audience, 500-600 young people and their families. And so Bakersfield Christian High School, Biola University, Azusa Pacific University, even Liberty back in Virginia,
Really?
all of Knowles Christian schools, and the Legacy Christian Academy. So these schools are very interested in helping the ministry continue. And so those kinds of sponsors are priceless. They pour in and provide some funding. And then finally, Bill, I ask people that I know if they'd like to help fund and support this ministry. It's very much an international mission that's based here in Bakersfield, and it's like supporting a missionary, and that's what I liken it to. And so that's where we go. We have a lot of people that give on a monthly basis, and they've been giving for 5, 6, 7 years now. And it's just been wonderful to have that kind of support from people that I know, people that I've worked with, friends that believe in what we do.
Where might someone see some of the films that are done other than coming to the big event?
Well, that'd be the funnest way to see the
Yeah,
movie,
and I believe it is.
to come to the
Actually,
film
I've been
festival.
there.
Very encouraging. And when you come to the film festival, it's kind of a wow factor. You walk in, you see this theater that is gorgeous. It's a historic building, and the red carpet and all the kids. It's just a wow factor. But if they wanted to see the movies just on their own, on their computer, just on YouTube, search for Christian Youth Film Festival or Christian Youth Film Society, and you should be able to find some of our movies there. And these are movies that not all of them have won trophies or prizes, but all of them have been recognized as part of the film festival. And I think the kids have been encouraged to tell their story and to share the love of God wherever they go.
Yeah, I would think something like this would go over well in a high school or even an elementary school, since you're down to 12, right? Isn't that
Yeah, 12. That's junior high.
Junior high, yeah.
Junior high through.
Do you do that where you show them at say any of the high schools down there, just to let the kids know what some of the other kids are doing? Or
Yeah, we haven't shown in any of the movies at any of the high schools. That's not a bad idea, but I'll take it to churches, and I'll speak to the youth groups or to meetings of youth pastors. We see some results there. But when I've talked to high school video teachers,
yeah,
they are so busy. and they're trying to stay ahead of things. So when I bring in a program, it's hard for them to buy into it because they are awfully busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to show the film at, say, their youth group or something, would they just pick it off the internet, or would they
Yeah.
contact you or something so they could just pick it off the internet and use it?
Yes, they can just show it through YouTube. And there's downloaders if they want to download it and physically have it on their own computer.
Yeah.
And that's an option for them. But they could also call me, and then we could even bring a team of people to their school or to their church, to their youth group, and we could not only show a movie or two, we can give them some tools to make their own movie.
Over the 30 years since you've been doing this, are there any films that really stick out in your mind as being exceptional?
Yes, yes. One of the movies, maybe 7 years ago. Goodness, it might have been more than that. Over 10 years ago. Made by a young man named Carlos. Carlos called me several months before the film festival, and he asked if I would accept his movie because it's a little too long. We have the 10-minute rule, but his movie was about 25 minutes. And I said, Carlos, why don't you just send it to me? I'll look at it and I'll help you find places to cut and to make it fit within the 10-minute time frame. And he said, but I've edited all that I can. I can't cut anymore. I said, well, let's see. And I said, I'll even show it around to some professionals who can give us some advice. So he sent it to me, and I suggested, and some Hollywood professionals suggested areas that he could cut and maybe get it down to 10 minutes. Well, he did. He got it down to 10 minutes. He followed our advice, cut out a major part of his movie, and then got it in at just under 10 minutes. And it showed through the film festival, and he won Best Picture. And it was one of the few movies that I can recall that really made me cry because it spoke so much of a kid's hurt, pain, and need. And in this case, the church community didn't respond, and it was such a subtle way, and it broke my heart that the church community portrayed in the movie was unable to meet this kid's pain and to give him comfort. And I thought, oh man, that speaks to my own guilt in neglecting a student's pain or a student's environment. And so that's why it touched my heart so much. And then of course it touched other people's hearts too, because he won Best Picture. And he was from Seattle, and he actually flew down for the festival, and he was all by himself to receive his award. But everybody who was there celebrated with him because it was just one of those kind of movies that touched your heart.
The 25-minute version, is it available anywhere, or is the 10-minute what we can see?
I wouldn't know. Yeah, he may have kept it at 25 in a version, and maybe he's selling that. I don't know. He is now grown up, married with kids, and he has a video business. And last I heard, he was in the middle of filming some sermon illustrations.
Really?
Yeah. So he's working with his church and producing videos for his his own church community, but I think he also does freelance on the side, and evidently is good enough to make a living.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a neat story. I
Yeah.
like that.
that's Carlos.
Yeah. Are there any, now obviously Carlos sticks in your mind and as rightly he should. Are there any other, kids that maybe you saw a great change in or,
Oh yeah.
saw this ministry really touch them in some major way or?
Yeah. Well, there's another kid, Ben. Ben, he saw the film festival. He came to the film festival when he was like a freshman in high school, and he went home and he told his mom. He says, "Mom, I'm going to enter that festival. I'm going to win." And so he got busy and shot his movie, and he actually won the next year, and the next 2 years actually he won, and now he's in the business, making videos for commercials and industrial videos. He's doing some stories. He's a director and a cinematographer, and so he's doing really well. But the thing that hit me was just last Friday. I was at a football game, and his parents, Ben's parents, came up to me, and we're friends. They talk. I don't recognize them every time I see them, but fortunately they're they're loving enough to come up and say, "Hey, remember us? We are, Ben's parents." So I'm glad for that. But they said, Ben is doing really well, blah blah blah, and they said, "Ben got his start with you, Joe. Thank you so much for giving Ben that push that he needed to enter a career in doing this." And he's doing well and making enough money to live. So yeah, that was encouraging for me. And that, again, that's another one that stands out because he not only is developing his giftedness and making the movies and the commercials and the videos that he needs, but he's also solid in his church. He's following God, and he's shining God's light in an often dark industry. So yeah, that stands out to me as well. And there's many more.
Excellent. Do you find that Hollywood is they're willing to participate in what you're doing? Obviously, you're finding some, but do you find a real welcome up there, or is it kind of you having to mine it a little bit? Or
well, it seems like every time I see one of these Hollywood professionals who somehow our paths cross, they often say, "Wow, that sounds great what you're doing in Bakersfield. I sure wish we had something like that when I was a kid." And I think, "Oh wow, that's kind of cool." But it's like God has somehow put us together, and I can't explain it really. Yeah, there's people in Hollywood that are all for it. They want to see what's happening. They tell their friends, "Let me tell you about this guy in Bakersfield who's doing this and helping the kids," and so that's encouraging to me, because Hollywood is dark, but it's not only dark. There's a lot of light shining down there too, and I think that God has not abandoned Hollywood. Maybe Hollywood has abandoned him, but there's still hope. There's still quite a few Christians, quite a few people that want to see a good, wholesome product out of Hollywood.
Do you ever wonder why God put you in Bakersfield instead of on Sunset and Vine?
Yeah, I've wondered that from time to time. Sometimes I wonder, why did he choose to give me this ministry? Because I'm no movie maker, And in fact, our motto here at Christian Youth Film Society is that it's not about making movies, it's about making movie makers. And so, yeah, I'm not a good movie maker, but I can help encourage young people so that they can become movie makers. And I think that that's where I fit best. And I think that's
Uh,
what God has given me.
it's almost done with 22. What do you have planned for 23?
Well, 23 will be our 29th annual film festival.
Really?
And yes, and we're gonna do it very much like we've done in the past. It'll be 10 or 12 movies that we'll show. We'll have a college night. So that's going to be great. What I'm really looking forward to is 2024. That's our
Really?
30th anniversary. And we're already putting together some designs and some ideas, because we want to honor 30 years of people that have gone through our ministry, that have supported all along the way. And so we want to celebrate and honor that. So our 30th anniversary is right around the corner, just a year and a half away. And you better keep your eyes open for a lot of cool things.
I'd love to get an invite. That I'd like to go to. I like to go to a mall. I just get busy, you know.
Well, you're
This,
always welcome. There's a place for you, Bill, at the film festival.
I
And this
loved
is,
it when we did that film camp up here.
yes,
You know, was about 70 or 80 kids involved
yep.
in our little town here. And it was so neat.
Well,
And
it
some of the
was.
talent is just, I mean, I'm amazed at how talented some of these kids are.
Well, and I think that we need to encourage that talent. I think our world, our society tends to discourage the creative expression that kids need. And so if we can encourage them and help guide them, then not only will they be more creative, they will be better members of society, contributing in positive ways. That's what we're hoping for. And so,
Yeah, you're touching on a subject that's very near and dear to me. The creative process, particularly for a Christian, you know, because we're, you know, it almost sounds bragging, you know, that we're plugged into God, but God created us as creative.
yes.
And I think he blesses that when we use it, and particularly to bring him glory and so forth. And to
Yeah.
see kids doing that is just, I think it's marvelous, just
Well,
fantastic.
I think a lot of kids, when they're really young, 5, 6 years old, they're very creative naturally. As you said, they're created in the image of God, and that's one of the biggest, biggest characteristics, if you can see, is the creativity of God and the creativity of people that he indwells. And so we've got this creativity, but I think society, as I said, kind of tries to put kids in a box and say, don't be creative in this, don't color outside the lines, stay with the program. And I think that by the time they're in junior high or high school, many of them have stopped being creative.
It's kind of been wrung out of them, you know.
Well, yeah, kind of squeezed, pushed, wrung out. Yep.
You know, this color in the lines, and all 30 of you in your seat with your hands on your table, and all of that. And the kid that just wants to look outside and look at the birds, is slapped down, and you need to conform and all these kind of things. And and one of the things I like about film is that you take a film and then you have all this wonderful stuff you can do in post-production, you know, where you can really get creative.
Yeah.
To me, editing is the most fun of making films. It
Oh
really
man,
is, because
I can't.
that's really where the film happens, is on the.
Very much so, but I can't stand editing. Don't like it at all.
Don't you? Oh,
No, I'm so
to
sorry.
me, that's all the only reason I take a film is so I can edit it.
Oh well, God bless you.
Well, let me ask that. You say you're not a film editor or a filmmaker, but you're a maker of filmmakers,
Yes.
which I fully understand. I mean, I absolutely understand that, because, in the very sense, you're a producer. You're the producer, and there's a lot of producers in Hollywood you wouldn't trust with a camera. I mean, you just wouldn't, and that's what you are. Is there any part of the filmmaking industry that you'd kind of like to get your fingers into, or are you just, no, thanks, I'll be where I am?
Well, I'm okay if I'm holding a boom mic. I think I can do that all right.
Oh, not me. I'd have it too far away or too close and bang him on the head or something.
I could do that, or I could fetch coffee, or I could. In fact, for one movie, I was the transportation wrangler.
Oh,
so I was basically, I took the actors to the toilet and back. We couldn't have a toilet on the set, and so I had to drive them another mile to
my next door neighbor was a transportation in the film industry.
Oh, great.
He talks about some of the movies he was wrangler on. It was, yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, there's all kinds of jobs that anyone can do.
Yeah.
But
have you thought about opening it up to adults at all? Is there any value to doing it for adults, keeping them off the streets and stuff?
There may be, but I don't want to. I like working with kids, and some people say I'm crazy because I like working with junior high. But that's the age group that I resonate with. Maybe I'm just too immature to work with adults.
No, I think you're right. The younger ones, the 12 and up, they're still wild. I mean, their brains are wild, and they come up with some of the neatest stuff.
Yeah.
I just love watching them. I'll sit in church and I'll just, before the service, and the kids are running around and they're all doing this, that, and the other thing. And it's just fun. They're fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can fully understand that. And then when they get up older, they're thinking more like careers, and they're that kind of thing. And so, in fact, I had a gentleman who's a young guy, just graduated, I think, from film school, and he's hoping to go to Hollywood and hoping to make a name for himself.
Great.
And he wouldn't even appear on a, something like this. Oh, that was my phone. Forgive me. He wouldn't appear on something like this because he was afraid of how it might, damage his image and that kind of thing. And to me, and that's fine. Not criticizing him, because these things last forever.
Yeah.
But it's a time when creativity gets dampened.
Yeah.
And suddenly it has to form into something that's acceptable and all those kind of things. And
well, and an adult, many times they've become a little more cynical.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get bogged down in unimportant issues, like politics and inflation. They want to discuss that and portray that in the movies, and that's great. But I I'd really rather deal with real problems like a boyfriend dumped her, deal with really world-changing stuff that the junior hires are addressing in their movies. you know, I just
But
want.
that's an interesting thing. That notion of the guy dumping the gal when she's about 13 and he may be 14 or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's the end of the world.
It is the end of the world, and it's an interesting thing because it has so much to do with how they see themselves and how they fit in, and what they invest in and why they invest in it, and what's happening over here that's causing all this, and you get a glimpse of them that you just don't get anywhere else. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
neat.
yeah.
Very neat. Well, is there, coming to the end of this thing, I guess, is there anything you'd like to let folks know that are watching?
Well, I would say, get involved. Come and just see the film festival. Like I said, it's a wow factor. You'll walk in and you'll certainly say wow. But that's the first step, I think, is just taking a look, see what's out there, see what we've got, and then get involved. Maybe you just want to support by $50 a month or something like that. Maybe you want to ask your company if they'd like to sponsor the film festival, or maybe there's other ways that you could be involved. Serve as an usher, serve as a liaison with some of our Hollywood friends. But there's always a way to get involved and be a part of watching the creativity of young people, watching it blossom into something that we had never imagined or thought of in the first place. And we say, wow, I got to play a small part in that. I got to maybe water that seed, or I got to help harvest a little bit here and there. And I think together we can make a better world for our young people.
Let me ask a question, and it's going to be embarrassing when you say no, but I'm going to ask it anyway. When is the film festival this year? When are you doing
March 4th and 5th. The 4th is the college night, and the 5th is the junior high and high school night.
What if I came down there and we did one of these kind of things with the participants, just talking to them and getting, wouldn't that be I think it'd be kind of a kick. It'd be kick for me, I know.
Sure. Well, sometimes the TV stations will come down and interview some kids. So you might have to take a number, but
it's okay. I can count probably up to 8 or 7 or something like that. So, I'd love to. Just keep me in the loop on that if you wouldn't mind. I
sure.
know that's added to your burden, but
I've got your email address.
I think it would be a kick in the head to do, and I'm dying to talk to the participants. I think, and even some of the actors, that were on this, just not just, but acting rather than behind the scenes and all that.
Well, your viewers and everyone else can go to christianyouthfilmfestival.org.
Okay.
And if they type that in, they'll see, or you can just search for a Christian Youth Film Festival and ours will come up right away.
Okay.
And
I'll put it on the screen here so that people can see it. And,
great. When it's on the screen, I'll take a look at it and tell you if it's all spelled right. It's such a long URL that it often gets misspelled.
Yeah. Especially in this quarter. Yeah. Okay. Well, you just have a great day, Joe, and God bless you, and God bless what you're doing. I think it's dynamite.
Thank you, my
loved
friend.
when I was involved. I wish I could be more involved every day.
Well,
but anyway, you have a great day. Okay, Joe?
Every little bit helps. Thank you, Bill.
God bless.
You have a great day
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
Next week, we're going to meet a young Christian woman who is working very hard to be a stand-up comedian. She tells me the measure of a new stand-up comic is that after every performance at the comedy club, they invite you back. She's being invited back time after time. You're going to enjoy this conversation. Don't miss it. Until next time, be a creative Christian.